Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you my October wrap up. So I know this is coming very late. As everybody will know, I was in America in October, so got back at the end of the month, and then November has been the biggest month for me personally with changes to my life. So I just haven't really had the time to sit down and film a proper video. Saying that, I did film this last week, and this is a new setup now. I'm in the living room and the lighting was dreadful, so I actually just deleted all the footage. I am working on improving it. I have a ring light arriving at some point this week, so I can try and make these videos a little bit better. But for now, this is the setup we've got to work with. So I'm sorry, but this is as good as I can do. So in October, I read 12 books, which I was pretty impressed with, and they all had fairly good ratings. So I've got to read my notes because I have no idea. I read 2 3-star books, 1 3.5-star book, 5 4-star books, 2 4.5-star books, and 2 5-star books. So my average rating was a 4. So yeah, pretty good month in terms of actual stuff I was reading and enjoyment out of it, but just not good in terms of getting videos out for you. As always, I will start from the lowest rating and work my way up to the highest. So the 3 stars is still a good rating, but the lowest rated book I read was History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. So this is about our main character, Griffin, whose ex-boyfriend Theo has died. And the person Griffin decides to turn to is Theo's old boyfriend, Jackson. They are both going through pretty much the same heartbreak on Theo dying, so they look to each other for comfort, and that's pretty much all I can remember about this book. I am a bit iffy with Adam Silvera's writing, so They Both Die at the End was one of my most favourite books ever, and I just didn't really get on with this one as much. I sped through it at work in an audiobook, and it's all a little bit forgettable. So 3 stars, not bad, but just nothing amazing. It's a similar story for Love, Life and the List by Casey West. So this is about, I can't remember her name at all, that's awful. I want to say Abby or something like that, who has an unrequited crush on her best friend Cooper. She's told him about it, he's not interested, and that's pretty much the main story of the book. She is an aspiring artist and she wants to get her art into an art show at the museum she works at, but the curator, the guy in charge, says that her art isn't developed enough to show it and that she's too young. So she makes a list of things she wants to do to improve herself as a person, hoping that 1, it will give her a bit of success with Cooper, and 2, that her art will be displayed in the show. So with Casey West books, I don't think I've ever rated them above a 4-star. So this one was a 3. Don't think I've ever rated it much higher. They're always easy to get your head around, to enjoy, but it's nothing profound, which was the same thing as this book. The 3.5-star book I read was The Past and Other Things Should Stay Buried by Sean David Hutchinson. This is about Dino, I want to say his name was Dino, whose parents own a funeral home, and his ex-best friend, I want to say Juliet, I really need to pay more attention. It's just been so long. His ex-best friend has died, and she is in the funeral home that is run by Dino's parents. So then she wakes up and she's not alive, but she's not dead. And they basically work together to figure out what's going on. And that's pretty much that. This was another audiobook that I listened to. It was very easy listening, but nothing really that amazed me. So I did give it an extra 0.5 star on a 3, but it wasn't that great. So the 4-star books is where I've got quite a chunk. The first one being All the Things We Never Said by Yasmin Rahman. So I got this from NetGalley. I don't think I actually managed to read it before it was released, but it was an ARC at the time that I got given it. And this is about a girl called Maureen who is, I think she's 16, and she suffers with depression and anxiety, which she calls the chaos. This all gets a little bit too much for her, and she joins a website called Memento Mori, where she gets paired with 2 girls, Cara and Olivia, who are both dealing with their own problems at this time. So they have also joined this website, and this puts them into a suicide pact together, where they have to complete certain challenges to commit suicide together. And each challenge they do, they have to submit proof that they've done it. And it's very, very dark, but it's sort of about how they develop as people through this whole experience. And I absolutely loved it. I was just missing something for 5 stars, and I'm not sure what it was. There were also a lot of things I guessed, so problems behind, like the issues causing their mental problems, I did sort of work out, but maybe that's just because I read quite a lot of dark contemporaries. So I did enjoy it. It just wasn't anything amazing. There was something missing for 5 stars, but I would definitely recommend it if you would like a hard-hitting contemporary. Next, I read Hot Dog Girl by Jennifer Duggan. This is completely the opposite. This is a very non-hard-hitting contemporary. So this is about our main character. Again, I've forgotten her name completely, who works at Fantasy Playland, or have I made that up? That sounds like the name of it. And every year she will work here for the summer, and she wants to be the princess on the park, so she'll be able to get with the prince and do little shows. But every single year she gets picked to be the hot dog, and this is the last year that Fantasy Playland is going to be open, and she gets given the hot dog again, and she's not very impressed. And that is pretty much it. She has a best friend that she turns to. She has a crush on the prince. It's very typical. The storyline was quite expected, to be honest, but I had a very good time listening to the audiobook for this, so I gave it 4 stars. Next, we have the first book that I actually have a physical copy of, and that is Feast of Fools by Rachel Caine. This is the 4th book in the Morganville series, which I've been slowly rereading over the year. This was October and we're now at the end of November, and I still haven't picked another one up. So slowly is the key word. There are 15 books to this series, and I'm only completing number 4 now. But this is about a girl called Claire who is very clever, and she goes to university before she is actually old enough. She is 16. She wants to go to Texas? I don't know where she wants to go, but wherever she wants to go, she does not get sent there. Her parents would like her to be a little bit closer because she's too young, and she ends up at Morganville. And Morganville is a town where vampires exist and they live and they rule the town, and Claire gets sort of sucked into all of that. Good choice of words. So funny. Really not. This being the 4th book in the series, I originally gave this 5 stars and I have lowered it down to a 4. The first 3 I've kept at a 5, but this one just felt a little bit flat. I obviously know the whole story, but this one just was lacking something a little bit. I needed a bit more content in this one. It was a bit dragged on a little bit. Saying that though, I obviously still really enjoyed it because I gave it 5 stars, and I can't wait to carry on reading the series. Next, I read Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. I listened to the audiobook for this one. This was very interesting. This was like a Groundhog Day style story where the same day gets lived over and over and over again. And I'm pretty sure there's a car crash near the start, and that's how it all kicks off, but I'm now saying that out loud and think I'm wrong. This book, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the ending, but I was a bit lost through the whole thing, and that's why I can't even explain what the story's about, because I can't remember. I remember being sucked into it. I needed to finish it really quickly. I think I listened to it in 2 days. But I really think that reading the physical book would have given me Bruce is away. Would have given me a better understanding of where the story was going, and I feel like a little bit lost. So that's why I gave it 4 stars rather than 5, but I did really enjoy it and I would recommend it for like mystery contemporary. The final 4-star book I read was Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. So this was lovingly given to me by Brittany while I was in America. So we both read this book, like we would literally sit on the sofa and read it together, and we also annotated and tabbed it. So we can see straight away, you don't know my handwriting, but this is Brittany's. So we annotated them, and then we gave each other the other person's annotations. I can see a little bit of her writing on this page. Annoyingly, I think we both wrote in black, so you can't actually see it when you hold the book up. But there is definitely some annotations from Brittany in here. I really enjoyed this book, but I think I enjoyed the experience of reading it with Brittany more than the actual story. So one of my favourite books of the year has been, if I can grab it quickly, has been Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett, which was also given to me by Brittany. but she posted this one to me, so I read it by myself. Serious Moonlight, we read together, and I think the actual story I enjoyed much more in Starry Eyes, but the experience of reading it with Brittany gave this a bit of a higher rating. So if I would have read this by myself, would it have even been a 4-star? I don't know. It just wasn't as great as Jen Bennett's other stuff that I've read. I am looking for the US copy of Alex Approximately so that they will all match on my shelves, but maybe I will just have to get that the next time I'm in America. Sorry if the angle has changed slightly. I have the worst pins and needles right now. This might not be my best position for sitting and filming these videos, but we'll work it out. Also, the main road is right there with a window to it, so everybody walking past can look straight in on me, and I'm getting like camera shy from people out there. It's not fun. I just made eye contact with someone. Oh dear. Okay, bye. Anyway, the first 4.5-star book I rated was Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. So this book gave me major Jane the Virgin vibes. This is about Rosa Santos, who lives with her abuela, which sounds very weird with an English accent, sorry. So her abuela is like the healer of the community, and her mom is an artist who sort of nips in and out of her life, and we're not quite sure whether she's going to be present in the story. But the women of the family are cursed, and it's bad news for any guy that turns up with a boat because they will drown in the ocean. And that's pretty much the message of the story. So Rosa then meets Alex, who is covered in tattoos of the ocean, which were described several times and I loved. And his family own the marina. So Rosa knows not to get involved, but she also knows that she really, really wants to get involved. And this book was just so great. The writing was really pretty, but not overly flowery, which I typically don't like. And there was a little bit of magical realism here and there. Absolutely loved it. I did listen to this one on audio, so I don't have as detailed memories of it, I think, but it could just be that I read it a while ago because I read it like in the middle of October. But yeah, maybe I should read this one again because I'm not fully confident in every part of this story. But I do know that I really did enjoy it. The other 4.5-star book I read was Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Ngan. I was really confident on how you pronounce that, and now I'm not. This one I buddy read with Catherine. I will link her Instagram in the description for you. We both really wanted to read this book because of Lauren from She Is Such a Lauren. We were told that we had to, pretty much. My hair is driving me crazy. I'm sorry for messing with it. So yeah, we were told we had to read this book by Lauren, so decided to eventually give in and read it together. I absolutely loved it. This was about a group of paper girls that have to move into the king's palace and sleep with him, basically. It's just like a service that they have to provide, and that's pretty much all they're needed for. It's a weird setting. But this I did really, really love. I think I would have given it 5 stars if I hadn't recently read, where is it? The Selection by Kiera Cass, because this is about a group of girls who are trying to marry the prince to eventually become the queen. And it was the same sort of situation where they would move into the palace and be there for a member of a royal family. So there were a couple of similarities, which did mean I knocked it down 0.5 of a star, but I really, really did enjoy it. It was sort of an easy level fantasy because I don't read fantasy typically, or at least like complicated fantasy. I need easy fantasy, and it was definitely something like that. So if you wanted to, like me, try and get into fantasy and you're really struggling, I would definitely recommend it. And finally, the 5-star books. The first one is, I've only had 3 books in front of me for this whole thing. That is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. So I did actually read this one on audio and loved it so much that I had to buy myself a copy, and I also knew that the spine was like pretty cool. So I just wanted to own this book. So now I have it. So this is about Monty. Is it Henry Montague? Yeah, Henry Montague, so Monty. And I'm pretty sure we start off in the 1700s. Yeah, it just says 17 with a dash, so I'm going to go 1700s. So he's a bit of a party boy, and he's also bisexual, which in the 1700s, probably wasn't the most accepted thing in the world. It does say here, where are we looking for? The finest boarding schools in England and the constant disapproval of his father haven't been able to curb any of his roguish passions, not for gambling halls, late nights spent with a bottle of spirits, or waking up in the arms of women or men. So, Bruce is making so much noise today. What is wrong with him? Anyway, he is not the best person to sort of inherit the family responsibilities. So his dad lets him go off with his best friend Percy for a final, like, big blowout tour of Europe. But it turns out that Monty is actually seriously in love with Percy, and he's not sure whether that is one-sided. This was so cute. I don't do historical fiction, but I obviously really do contemporary. So I didn't even care that it was historical because I was so caught up in the romance and the drama and everything. I would definitely recommend this to anybody who just likes cute contemporaries, and it makes you feel a bit more sophisticated because you've tried to read something historical. Just a quick hint. And finally, we have Girls with Sharp Sticks by Suzanne Young. This was, obviously I gave this one 5 stars as well. This was, I don't know whether this or Gentleman's Guide was my favourite book of October, but they were both very high up there. So this is about the Innovations Academy? And there are a group of girls who are being trained to be the best wives, and then they will be sold off to a family. And it's very weird. And our main character, Mina, meets a guy at it's like a petrol station. They've gone out on a trip, and he starts to notice that everything isn't quite what it seems for this girls' school. So the guardian is like really abusive in public towards them, and he basically just thinks that she is in trouble, and he decides that he would like to help her out. But even then, everything isn't as it seems, and I was really not expecting where this story went. I would definitely recommend reading this book without checking Goodreads, because I checked Goodreads, saw different genres that it was classed under, and then went, of course, why didn't I work that out? But I went in just thinking this was like a dystopian kind of contemporary story, but it isn't. And I absolutely loved it. The sequel, Girls with Razor Hearts, I really, really, really want to read. I just loved it. I would recommend it. That is pretty much, my reviews have not been great in this video. I can only apologise. But that is it. Those are the 12 books that I read in October. Again, I'm sorry that this is so late. I will try harder next time. Saying that, it's the 30th of November and I'm going to film my November wrap up, like, in a couple of minutes. I will change my top so you don't know. So if you haven't watched this video all the way through, you won't know. It's the same day. It's fine. Everyone does that, right? But that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.